owners and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking what's next. They hail from New Hampshire, but could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read "Curiosity killed these cats." And now your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome back to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live as well as on YouTube. And we're always up on Spotify. Hey, are we going to get a Patreon account?
A who?
Patreon account.
What is that?
That's like people can join or subscribe or donate.
Oh, yeah. Can we? How do you set it up? Let's do it today.
Yeah, we should do that. Okay,
yes.
We'll do that. But one of the things that I was thinking is we have to have some kind of little fun video series that only the Patreon people get to see. So like the point of the membership is you're getting material that other people aren't getting.
I like that.
And I think there's so many things we should do.
I miss making our reels.
Yeah, because we're making life behind the reels.
Yes.
That's what you're missing.
Because you're just really doing life, and you're like, oh my God, that
Let's
will be
video
funny.
this.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
video this life.
I was going to say is what we were just talking about. What were you just talking? Oh, you said something about confidence. I'm like, we should go through our phones and just talk about our memes, the ones that we save,
Okay.
or like our thoughts. So when you look good, you feel unstoppable. It's not vanity, it's energy. Confidence starts with how you show up for yourself. I like that.
So one of the things I think about confidence is, at first, the reason why imposter syndrome is even a thing is because nobody has confidence at first. How could you be confident at something that you have no idea what it is yet? Your expectations
Because
are
you're
off.
confident about yourself and not the experience. So that's what, say, we were just talking about, and what she exuded was confidence. And it just made me think, Chris was saying something the other day. I forgot we were in the grocery store and somebody comes up and I just turned around and looked at, like, she ended up saying something. She's like, oh my God, I love your outfit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've never had so many people say something. He's like, because you dress differently. And I'm like, I don't think I dress obscurely. I don't think I dress so different. He said, but I think it's the way you carry yourself, and you've been carrying yourself very differently, and people can't help but to not say something to you. And I thought about that as like, well, maybe since being on the radio show, I do have a different level of confidence in me. So I might not have confidence in the experience I'm getting ready to do, but I know me.
Yeah, I like that. I do think there was this, I'm reading a fiction book, but I had heard the author talking about an equivalent thing, but this was the truth, but he just happened to write it in a different saying in fiction, and it reminded me of it. He said when he learned to read people for the military, that he thought he was doing it wrong because what he saw was fear and insecurity. So he thought he was doing it wrong. And so when his person, the person that trains him says, no, you're really seeing, you're seeing behind the mask. Everyone wears a mask.
Yes.
And you are seeing behind it. And he said, oh, that makes, so when he wrote it into the book, he wrote like another version of that. And the book is called Phrase 7 by Chase Hughes. And it's a thriller. It's like a spy 007-y, Mission Impossible-y, only mental, psychological piece to it. But it does have a little bit of action in it. So I was listening to it. And part of that, that saying that we're all wearing the mask of confidence. So they're not seeing the fearful, insecure person we are. And I think that's where authenticity and vulnerability come in. If you let people know, I may not be confident about this thing, or I may not be confident 100% of the time, or maybe you are confident 100% of the time.
I don't think, but because I think all of those feelings, I think fear, insecurity, and confidence all reside in our bodies all the time. I don't think that you can have somebody that's confident and to say once I've got confidence, then there's no more fear. That's not true. It's just it's like taking tools out of your tool belt when you need them. So anger and fear are good tools when you use them as a tool, not a weapon. It's like confidence. So you're always going to be like,
And some people only use their hammer or their screwdriver.
Yes.
They just use the same tool despite the problem that exists.
Correct.
And that's not the right tool.
And knowing, like, I know how you and Chris were saying something the other day or a while back, and it said something about, and I had said to him, yeah, I do believe that I deserve the Gucci belt, or I deserve this, or I deserve a luxury vacation, or I deserve to do, because I know I'm not looking for a handout. I know what I'm willing to do to get it. So why wouldn't I feel deserving of it? I feel like that's what I feel like that's what who God wants us to be, or the universe wants us to be, is to claim ourselves and claim what you want.
Well, it's kind of claim your divinity. We're all divine beings.
Yes.
And that guy has a good exhaust on
He
his
did have a good
motorcycle.
rumble.
I know. Now I'm like trying to look where it is.
I think
on
it
the
went
bike.
that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Squirrel.
No, well, it's funny because my significant other's motorcycle is down.
Oh,
yeah. And for all of my motorcycle people out there,
wrong time of year to have a motorcycle down.
The week of bike week,
I know.
and your motorcycle goes down. It's one of those things. I was like, just go buy another bike. Just buy another bike. We'll deal with
Yes.
We'll deal with it later. Just
Part that one out.
Just buy another bike, get on another bike, because we're finally in riding season.
Yeah.
That's the thing about bikes and boats. When you have only so much time to use them, that cycle of repair not falling around the right time is impossible. Just like our plow equipment, when it used to break down in January, it was like, well, this is when we need it.
Right.
I didn't need it in June.
Right. Well, it was like my pool. It was
Yes.
like, let's get that thing open. Like, clock's ticking, man.
Yeah, we got so many weeks and it's over.
I got some daylight to burn over here.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
It's go time.
So back to the not motorcycles.
The confidence.
Yeah, but I think that's why little kids are so great, because sometimes they're like, they haven't learned that. Not all of them anyways have learned that fearful piece of it. And like, when little kids tell you sometimes things, they tell you with such confidence.
I can't remember if it was I think it's Jordan Peterson, one of the books that I was listening to, or one of his episodes, and he's talking about how, I'll have to go back and get my notes. He's talking about how when we come full circle, we see life through child's eyes again.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying that you're going to wake up. To me, the way I see it is that we actually can learn to lay down our burdens, that we can lay down our stresses, or we can see them from a different way. I'm grateful that I have a job. It's not what I do, but I'm grateful that I have a place I can pay the bills. I'm grateful for the life that I live right now. Like, just seeing it from a difference, and I don't know, seeing the innocence and vulnerability, I think, in things, or in allowing grace to be.
It's the new eyes. Like,
yes.
When you're little, the first time you see a butterfly, the first time you see a flower, the first time those being exposed to the world, that eyes open exposure to the world, and everything is new, and you're so curious.
Yes.
Curiosity is how you learn. So
my kids' grandmother used to say when they were little, you have stars in your eyes. And, when babies, their eyes are so shiny, but like, even as they're kids, just watching their expression, like, I've always loved that. Like, I want to live my life with stars in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes it more interesting.
Yes.
It definitely makes it more interesting because there's no joy. It's very difficult to be joyful if you know the answer and the outcome to everything because I don't know why.
There's mystery.
Yeah, there's still wonder.
Yes, wonder, curiosity, mystery, and awe.
And I love that I'm the insatiable appetite for information person. So the internet has been both a blessing and a curse because I will honestly say, though, I'm really sick of Google giving me a chat GBT answer because it depends on. So I asked it the same question, 2 different ways about how much protein you're supposed to eat, and I got 2 different answers depending on the way I phrased my question.
I'm surprised you only got 2.
I only asked the question twice, and I'm like, see, you have to make sure, and that's the same way with science. You have to ask the question properly to elicit an answer.
But that's all of life. You have to learn how to ask a better question.
So I told you, I think I've told the audience too about the study where they feed cocaine to rats.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard, the study is some poor person is procuring cocaine for mice. And they give them cocaine.
I'm pretty sure the government's funding it.
The government's totally funding that. Not on Kennedy's watch, I'm sure, but he'll change that. Right. But we're not giving our rodents sugar or cocaine. So what they do is they administer both sugar and cocaine to mice, and then they give them the ability to self-administer either. And 99% of the time, they choose sugar over cocaine. Was that the study?
I thought that was the study.
Yeah, so to say how addictive cocaine was. But the interesting thing...
I thought it was addictive how sugar was.
I'm sorry, you're right. She's right. How addictive sugar is that they will actually choose sugar over cocaine.
Because then the government's going to be like, let's give Coke to everybody for their coffee in the morning.
They used to put it in Coca-Cola.
Yes, I do remember that.
And I remember there's a funny little meme out on the internet about, what used to be like in the day. Like, back in the day, Grandma used to do whatever. And she's like, back in the day, Grandma had cocaine in her Coke.
That's right.
So there's a difference. So, but back to this cocaine story, or the sugar story, is no one, but they were putting the mice in cages by themselves. And mice, as well as rats, are communal creatures. They're not solitary creatures. When there's one mouse, there's 100 mice. When there's one rat, there's 1,000 rats. But if they put multiple mice in the same cage, they did not administer either. So it was connection. It was the loss of something primal to them.
Yes.
And I thought this was really great, so I will read it. It's from Johan Hari, he's a writer, and he has a lot of great books out. One of the things, and I don't have my glasses, so I'm hoping I'm going to do a good job. Let's see. Of course, not going to let me make it bigger. The internet was born into a world where many people had already lost their sense of connection to each other. The collapse had already been taking place for decades by then. The web arrived, offering them a kind of parody of what they were losing. Facebook friends and a place of neighbors. Video games in place of meaningful work. Status updates in place of status in the world. The comedian Mark Maron once wrote that every status update is just a variation on a single request. Would someone please acknowledge me? How scary. How scary.
That's true.
And I think back to when my grandparents came over. They lived in an apartment building, a 4-unit apartment building, with all of their family. They were surrounded by people they were close to. They had an instant built-in community of their family. And then we got into the single-family world, cul-de-sac, circle type of places, and we benefited from not having to live with the aunt or the uncle we couldn't stand across the way. But we also probably didn't learn conflict resolution.
Like, all right, we want community, but like they gotta go.
On our time.
They gotta go. Now I'm gonna be more selective.
Right.
First, we're gonna okay, this is not working. This works great. This is not working. Let's move over here, or let's move Uncle Pat over there, and let's move to the different town.
Yes.
Now we'll just be a few minutes away.
But now we've lost the sense of community
Yes.
that we normally had built into our lives. We also lost daycare. We lost. It always used to be a family member taking care of a family member. And so there we have changed so quickly to how we've lived as humans for so long.
Mm.
And
Yeah, think about each decade has been very different for
Right. even the 2020s have been unbelievably different than all the other decades.
That is true.
And who knows what the next decade's going to look like. But I think one of the most, confidence. I'm going to go into lying to yourself at this point too, because I think some lies are good lies when you lie to yourself.
Yes.
Like when you tell yourself you can do something you can't quite do yet.
Yes.
Good lie.
Yes.
Bad lie. Telling yourself you can't do something that you could do if you just asked the question differently.
Eating that whole carton of ice cream is not good for me.
Right. Right. That's true.
I'm going to get skinny eating this.
It's calcium.
Yes.
I'm going to eke out the... Do you know what's really funny? When I was younger and, you're reading the back of cereal boxes for your nutritional facts, the
Yes.
triangle, and you're thinking, I'm not having enough carbohydrates, right?
Yes.
And then, they tip up the world and tell you that everything you learned was wrong, but you've been so habitually practiced into it.
Yes.
And our society and our food structure is built on it. And then they go, why won't these people learn?
But still think about that too, like diet. And, we get caught up on carbs. We get caught up on a
Macros.
macro, a fad. Don't eat too much protein. Don't eat this. Don't eat meat. Don't eat eggs. Eggs are bad for you. Now eggs are good for you. You don't need any carbohydrates. Now you need carbohydrates. But how many times that we just say, okay, we're going to reset our body and start eating better. How many people do you think say, oh, I got to cut my carbs out?
Everybody.
Right, because we're brainwashed by it. But we can say, you know what? That's not for me. I can choose to lay that down. I don't have to believe. So that's the same thing about carrying the anger and grumpy people. And, we can choose a new narrative at any moment.
Right. But it's not falling back into the old narrative because it's so habitual.
Right. But it has to be intentional. So I started doing, because I myself do it. And I'm like, I'm going to start being better. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat an apple every morning. Apples are really good. I want to I want to work on my cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
It's good fiber. It's good. It's a carbohydrate. It's a good sugar. Like I'm going to.
It's got vitamins and minerals.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm going to eat an apple a day. And I'm like, just stop thinking about the whole carbohydrate. So I'm restructuring my belief system.
And how do you feel eating an apple every day?
I feel good.
Do you notice a difference?
Well, it's only been like 5 days. But yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm less hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like, and they even say apples can give you more energy than caffeine.
Oh,
Like one
interesting.
apple can give you, 2 cups of coffee or something like that.
I've got to reduce my caffeine intake. I've been so energy deficient. It's like someone unplugs me. I've been up for 2 hours and it's like someone was walking by, kicked my plug out, and I'm going like, where's my energy? Where's my energy?
It's the slow.
It's literally like a switch. And I was talking to the woman who does the fitness competitions, and she's like, you know what the thing is, everyone thinks you don't need carbohydrates, but carbohydrates are the energy. You just need the right carbohydrates.
Yes. Yes.
And there is $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion industry behind confusing our health.
Mm-hmm.
Because for years, it was studies paid for and conducted by the people who were trying to sell us something. Like, should they really be if I was going to sell you red skirts,
Right.
should I be doing this? Should I be the one paying for and getting the results for the study on how red skirts benefit society?
Of course.
Right? Now, the only thing anyone's going to be wearing, if I have anything to do about it, is red skirts.
Right. In cereal, I actually remember we didn't have a ton of choices in cereal. Now there's it's almost double aisle, choices on both sides. Like, what? You don't need that. And I'm not a big cereal person. I don't like it when it gets mushy.
Yeah, I eat so little milk in my cereal because I don't like the mush. I need to keep crisp.
I don't like.
Well, we're both texture people.
Yes. I can't do that.
We're texture.
Okay, so next one, which is still on the same. Your brain rewires itself based on repetition. Talk to yourself like someone you're becoming, not someone you're fixing. I like
So
that.
I do believe that life got a lot easier when I didn't believe I was broken, that I needed fixing. Everything about me is just fine. Do I have some traits that we could all
Right.
hope they don't show up as often?
We're perfectly imperfect. I got you, girl. I got you back. I'm your wingman. Literally.
We're winging into the...
So, being an emotionally intelligent person means that you can never fully hate someone because you understand there's a reason why they are the way they are. It's this. These are like. It's funny. This.
Oh,
I took
actually,
this on June 3rd. I've saved this, but I'm like, and sometimes I just save something, but when it comes back, like all these ones have been relevant to our conversation. I was like, wow, am I telling myself something right now?
Read that to me again because I wanted to tell you something.
Being an emotionally intelligent person means that you can never fully hate someone because you understand there's a reason why they are the way they are.
Okay, say you have an estranged relationship with someone you're supposed to love.
Mm.
Mother, father, daughter, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, spouse, whatever's going on for you. Try journaling. Try writing down your argument from their perspective. And don't do it in the way of, hey, I'm a big jerk, so I like to yell at everyone in the morning.
Really dive down and try to understand.
Pretend you were
what makes them
tick.
Yeah.
And tell the argument from their side. Like did you ever have to take debate class where you had to write out an argument?
No.
Okay. So I took an advanced debate class, and the regular debate class was just more public speaking.
Yeah.
And then the advanced one was they would give you an argument, and you had to fight for that argument. And most of the time, it was going to be an argument you didn't believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids had to do that for...
And it's so useful. So one of the ones that I had to do that I did not believe wholeheartedly was driving 55 and under is safer. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not the person that should
When
have
you
this.
have to argue the thing that you're opposing...
At a fundamental cellular level. Like, I'm a speed person, so...
Well, like what I told you the other day is, you know...
Ooh, I hear the motorcycle again.
Love is a gift. And sometimes I think being emotionally intelligent or being more self-aware is you love somebody for where they are and who they are and not what you want them to be. Because a lot of times we do. Look how many times we nag our spouses or we nag our kids and we get them to go. Yes, it is forward progress.
I'm not nagging. I'm just angry and resentful over in the corner, not
That's
saying
true.
anything.
Yes, tapping my foot.
Because I hate nagging
Leering.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not leering in a good way.
I hate nagging too. I don't like to be a nag.
I don't like to henpeck, and I don't like to be a nag. I don't like when it's done to me, and I certainly don't want to turn into something I dislike.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a hard one.
But like even like estranged relationships and like letting go of baggage that we don't realize that we put expectations on people, and sometimes we carry those expectations, but then when those expectations aren't met, we pick up disappointment too. So now we've got expectations and disappointment. Then none of that happens, then we pick up resentment. You see, it's like it's just piling on negative. And I'm like, so what helped me heal in an estranged relationship is, I had to let go of my expectations. This person will never be what I need them to be or I want them to be. So I just love them for where they are. Maybe they are doing the very best that they can.
Or they're doing it from their limited perception. We all look at our own window.
Yes.
Right? So the view from our window, the view from the WSMN turret is different than the view from the Nashua Center.
Right.
First off, we can't see ourselves. I remembered in a fight, one of the best lines I thought was, you have the best seat in the house because you're never looking at you.
Ooh, that's good.
Right? So
I'm going to write that one down. That's definitely a word. That's a good one.
I'm going to use that one later.
When it says you have the best seat in the house?
You have the best seat in the house because you're never looking at you.
Oh.
And it's good for the person who is always criticizing you and telling you, like that's one to make someone shut up pretty quickly, because the first thing you can do is you can hurl, you think you're so great, your mama's fat, you so ugly, your belt size is equator, like all of those types of things you can do, in the heat of the argument. But what's a more quiet thing is, I see all those things you're pointing out about me. Let's turn the microscope back.
It's definitely a better way to say it, because what I've been saying is, but what's your part?
Yeah.
In that's that causes some
I don't know,
angry.
Mine might be a fight starter.
That was a fight. Mine
Yours is definitely a fight starter. Mine is too, though. Mine could definitely blow up a room quick.
Oh yeah, we just did that. Yo mama. that's a yo mama shot.
Yeah.
But what's your part?
Yeah, that is.
What's yours?
That's a you people.
Because that's summarizing. Thank you for telling me all of mine. Now what's yours?
Right. Let's look at yours.
And let's see if you can deliver it in the same way that you do mine.
Yeah, you're emphatic.
Right. Don't get me triggered, man. I like to be triggered. Okay.
But back to that piece about journaling from the other perspective is because that's kind of like when I was doing the rapist thing. It was a joke. But when you see a therapist, they're another set of eyes, so you have the perspective from across the street. So you are looking back to you because you can't do it. Now, some people do looking back at themselves really well. They are usually born out of trauma where they think everything is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
So those people need to be kind of like, you're okay. Everything is not about you.
Right.
Everything is not your fault. This
Right.
has nothing to do with you.
Right.
This is not yours.
I wish you could get rid of fault. Like, I wish you could just get rid of
A
like
no fault state, no fault person.
Well, just
No fault
not to the degree, not because you definitely there's some but it's such a sticking point for so many people about you can't move past the argument because you're still trying to find the boundaries. You're still trying to say it's your fault. This is why we're here. Who cares? You're here.
Right.
Who cares how you got here? You're here. It's more important where you're going than how you got here.
Right.
It doesn't matter who started it. That's just life. Life is messy.
That's a parent talking.
Yeah. Right.
He hit me. She hit me. I don't care who hit who. But we're not hitting anyone going forward.
But why do we forget that as adults? Why do we forget that as adults?
Part of the problem of being an adult. So we were talking about this the other day. You know how I love that show, Love on the Spectrum?
Yes.
Adulting on the Spectrum.
Yes.
Where do I want to be in adulting today?
Yes.
Right? Where do I want to be on the spectrum? Do I want to be paying my bills and doing my taxes today as an adult? Or do I want to be doing this whole other fun adult
pretty
thing?
much don't want to adult ever.
To take my credit card and go over here. And do
Work
this.
is a dirty word, and I try never to be a grown-up. It's true.
But if you can get to that journaling where you're really truly doing it from the other person's perspective, and you see it out of their eyes, feel it, and really see this person's point.
Yes.
It is impossible to stay really mad.
Well, it's also letting go because, again, we are attaching our emotions. We're attaching our emotions to what's coming out of that person's mouth. So sometimes it's like, and actually, if you can slow down and write it, it actually realize what they're saying has nothing to do with you. It's something that they're experiencing.
And you don't have to, that piece where, that defensive piece that makes every argument never going to be solvable. So, and some people have a gift, like if they could get paid money on the way they word something so you feel like you're always under attack. And I'm not good at it, so I can't give you an example.
That would be a good job for me.
Do you think you could do
Maybe.
that well?
I think I could.
So tell me something, but make it an accusatory thing.
Wait, what? Wait, say what?
So tell me something that should be just innocuous, but it's an inflammatory statement that will make me get defensive, even though I shouldn't be getting defensive about it.
Well, I don't know. One thing I was saying, like, yeah, it works better for me, like, if when we're in a conversation, we're
Okay.
flow, and then I think about something that's sarcastic.
Okay.
Like, I was in the we were having conversation, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I bumped into your comfort zone."
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy starts reacting to me because I made him uncomfortable by saying something that was truthful. Like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but you know what? You're actually having a temper tantrum because I made you uncomfortable. I shined a light on something. So that was one way of saying it. But also, I'm sorry I intimidate you to the point you have to go feral.
Like, I think there's some, and I think that's why when people have this tendency, it's part of the henpecking, it's part of the nagging. It's that section of right field, right?
Yeah.
It's that section. And when you come from that perspective, you're not getting a true response because you're getting someone defending themselves because they're under attack. So
Yeah.
you're not having open dialogue and conversation. You're having micro arguments.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you're exhausting people.
Mm.
Some people actually get very my grandmother was this type of person. She lived off the fight.
Yeah.
Like, she had that warrior spirit to her.
Yeah.
That she was down for battle.
Let's go.
And for me, I was build the wall, hide behind it, throw catapults, fiery, flamey catapults, cow
I'll
dung
be a sniper,
across,
not an army tank.
across this big, huge wall. Because I don't want to be in battle.
Mm.
I get, maybe because I always was told I was sensitive and I know I'm sensitive, I get too many. It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. So you know what's funny? I'm like that too. And we hold on to it. Remember, we always hold on to the resentment. And we have some friends of ours who are from the Ukraine. And it's funny to watch them and compare how their relationship is different and their expectations of each other are different. He can say something to her, like they show me, like they are themselves, and they are totally accepting of each other. She can say something that he doesn't like, and he can say something back, but then it's done. It's remember, like kids.
Yes.
It's like when you were kids and you were fighting with somebody and you're like, okay, we're done. And then they just go back to it. Like, they totally respect each other to be who they are all the time. Like, she doesn't take it personally if he snaps it and says something. She snaps and he doesn't take it personally. It's just allowing, you can see that they allow each other space to be themselves. And I don't think that we do that in relationships
Enough.
I think that's why a lot of our divorce rate is so high.
Right. And I also think we're not good at problem solving anymore. We're burning down cities.
Well, you don't have any energy because all the energy that we're using in this relationship is all negative energy. All negative energy is draining. So it's hard to do something different.
Right.
My opinion, but
right, because you have to come from how do you transform it to be energy giving energy versus taking it away.
Right. It's just set a low hum, a low vibration. All of those feelings are low vibration, and the more that you do it and the more that you're holding on to it,
The more exhausted you get.
The more
You're
exhausted.
wearing me out. You're worn, like,
yes.
I'm worn out.
Yes.
You're wearing me out, and so that's where estrangement comes in, because I need to separate myself from this.
Right. It's division. And you realize, like, say...
For survival.
Well, but you think about it. Like, you've had a great day. You've had a great day, and you're on this high. You had a great meeting. You had a really good day. And you come home, and your spouse is, a Debbie Downer, a negative Nancy. And it's like this, and complain, and this, and this. There's no connection. All you want to do is separate. Or you're either going to say, okay, I'll go there, and I'm going to match you
Right.
with another witty, sarcastic comment. You know what I mean?
Something just as miserable right back at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the next thing you know, you're like, I feel like a deflated balloon. Like,
Yep.
ugh.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to earlier.
Yeah. And I do think that journaling technique is, if you, because I was thinking about like my relationship with my grandmother. We had an estranged relationship for long periods of time, but it was practiced because she did that first.
Yeah.
She was the one who used that technique first.
That's cool.
So then you use that back to her, and she's like, "What's happening here?" And it's like, "Oh, I learned this from you."
Yeah.
Well,
I love that. I
you know,
love that. Love it, love it.
but
love
when
it.
I think about when I got, the true rage and anger that originated the estrangement subsided, it's because I'm a very empathetic person. I can see, I can put myself in her shoes and see her position, but how I could always rile myself back up if I wanted to was go, but I have a position too.
Right.
Why don't we ever see things from my position? Why are we only, why do I go to your side of the street?
Why are we always looking out of your window?
Right. Why do I go to your side of the street?
Right.
Come to my side of the street for 2 minutes. Come to my side.
Way better over here. Yes. Goes back to we all want to be seen. We all want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this one goes to
Okay.
the deeper you heal. Sorry. My voice is getting tired. The deeper you heal, the more your body reacts to bad energy. Loud, chaotic environments feel unbearable. Fake conversations drain you instantly, and being around negative or inauthentic people physically exhausts you. Your intuition sharpens. Your body picks up on energy shifts before your mind can process them. You are instinctively distance yourself from anything that disrupts your peace. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of what we were just talking about.
Well, I think about when you're trying to find peace and harmony, the noise is so disruptive. Where if you're in a band where everyone's playing their own notes off key, but it's all happening at the same time, it almost becomes its own crazy melody. But then when you're like, no, this is Mozart, it's harmony, it's calming, it's peaceful. And then all of a sudden someone starts banging randomly or plays a trumpet that doesn't know how to play a trumpet. You're like, or a violin.
Well, it's why I get irritated after like the long guitar pieces at the end of songs and stuff, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to. It's the energy starting to change, and like I've allowed that. That sounds like, but I've allowed myself to. If I'm not listening to a very specific playlist, I've allowed that energy into my space, and now it's starting to agitate me. And we've been in the car many times, and Chris is like, I cannot believe you get that triggered over music. And I'm like, it's not in alignment how my body feels. So my body is reacting to it. It's like I'm starting to get sweaty palms, and my heart is racing. I was not in that energy.
So we
I shared space with it for a minute, and it didn't feel good.
last Thursday we went out with we went over family's house, and we were like, put on some music, and she kept putting on sad cowboy music. What's that called? Is it cowboy?
Country music?
Country music. Sorry.
Sad cowboy. I love it.
And so we kept being no, and she's like, oh, but don't you feel? We're like, yes, we feel. Oh, we like, you can put on other music. And I had to actually take her phone away and get into her playlist. It was really, really funny. We were like, why do you want to be sad? Do you want to cry? She's like, oh, we're like, we don't want to feel this. We want, no. Okay, so I have one for you.
Okay.
There are many ways to calm a negative energy without suppressing or fighting it. You recognize it. You smile to it. You invite something nicer to come up and replace it. You read inspiring words, or you listen to a beautiful piece of music. You go somewhere in nature. You do some walking meditation. And that's Titnan.
That's changing your vibration.
Yes.
Okay. An unhealed person can find offense in pretty much anything someone does. A healed person understands that the actions of others have nothing to do with them. And each day, you get to decide which one you will be.
Very good.
I love that.
This one's me. I hate small talk. I want to talk about atoms, death, alien, sex, magic, intellect, and the meaning of life. I want to talk about faraway galaxies, the lies you've told, your flaws, your favorite sense, your childhood, what would keep you up at night, your insecurity and your fear. I like people with depth, who speak with emotion, a twisted mind. I don't want to know what's up.
What's up?
I don't want to hear about the weather. I don't want to hear about the weather. So for a long time, I literally like would walk away from a conversation if you started talking about weather. I couldn't even handle it.
A man asked his gardener why his plants grew so beautifully. The gardener said, I don't force them to grow. I remove what stops them. And so it's kind of like what we've been talking about. It's about mindset. Who are you going to choose to be, and getting away from negative energy. And it's like sometimes I do go back through all of these things and I'm like, wow, what story am I telling myself? Because I'm writing a story right now, and all of these are a reminder of like, I want to heal, and I want to glow, and I want to grow.
I have one for you.
Okay.
People who are spiritually minded tend to suffer more from anxiety and depression. Do you know why? Because their eyes are open to a world that is in need of repair. They literally have an increased ability to feel emotions, the emotions of the people around them.
Ooh. Being adult is weird. I'm just unsupervised all the time, and it seems so unsafe.
And I have a credit card. I have multiple credit cards. Until you face your own shadow, you cannot be illuminated.
Once you become a certain age, it is your responsibility to unlearn behaviors that hinder your growth as a person. Nobody is coming to save you. Get up and be your own hero. I like that one.
I think I just shut off the thing by accident. Okay. The uncomfortable truth. In the end, you realize it's just you. No one is coming to save you. No one can understand you as deeply as you want them to. No one can lift you up like you can. No one can be there for you all the time. And no one else can overcome the thoughts weighing you down. It is you, and it's always been you.
Ooh. Your time on earth is limited. Don't try to age with grace. Age with mischief, audacity, and a good story to tell.
I believe that.
I love it.
Every time someone is cruel to you, do something kind for yourself. This is how you reinforce your worth when other people refuse to acknowledge it. This is an incredibly powerful act of self-love.
Oh, yes. So when we used to do drop-off, when the kids were going to their dad's for the weekend, I would leave the minute they left because I didn't want to be at home. I went and did retail therapy. I would even just walking around, like sometimes I would just go to the mall and just walk and just like smell the retail and all. When something is right for you, it will give you energy. That's how you know. But it's also, it applies the same way too. When something is not right for you, it's going to give you the same. It's going to give you energy, bad energy.
So I liked this because I do believe there is a way to get into better mindset through physical work, physicality.
Yes.
So this says the gym is a lot like life. What you give is what you get. You can't fake the work. You can't cheat reps. You can't show up half-hearted and expect real results. It will test you. It will expose you. It will break you down before it builds you up. If you put in the effort day after day, set after set, it will give back to you. There's no faking it. You either earn it or you don't. I like that one.
Ooh, I like that too.
I do think there is some real like backdoor way if you're having a lot of mental problems. And I don't mean mental problems is the wrong word. If you're in a challenging position where you need something to change, the first thing I think you should change is some kind of physical activity.
Yes.
Because problems look different in a different perspective with physical activity. For me, that's always a way for me to get into something.
What I'm learning is like, you've always knew it, but like the gardener, your environment is so critical to your growth, or even just your happiness, peace, joy. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So why are you still rehearsing worst case scenarios instead of your dream life? I like that.
This is very similar. So sit at a table where they talk about God, universe, growth, money, dreams, and goals, not about people.
Yes. I had a funny one, and now I can't.
So this is me. This is you too. Travel as much as you want, as often as you can. Ride a plane, take a train, explore new places, try new foods, meet new people. Remember that there's so much more to life than repeating the same day over and over again.
You don't look like your goals. You look like your habits. Effort doesn't lie.
Yeah, that goes back to the gym.
That was a good one. Well, but just even where you are, even in where you're in your life, I hate my life and hate doing this and don't do that and don't do this. Well, what effort did you give it?
The only person coming to save you is the version of you that is sick of the current version of you.
Yes. Because that goes back to going ripples. When you create a difference in someone's life, you not only impact their life, you impact everyone influenced by them throughout their entire lifetime. No act is ever too small. One by one, that is how to make an ocean rise. Ripples. That's legacy.
So, all right, let's talk about the ocean rising thing. A rising tide raises all boats.
Mm-hmm. So a high vibration, if you're operating in a high vibration or you're creating an environment of high vibration, it's kind of when it goes back to what we were talking about, like the more that you heal, the more that you can't do bad habits, bad energy. I'm not accepting bad energy.
So the rising tide lifts all boats. If you were feeding into something, everything rises. You don't have to push. I really don't like when people push people down to lift other people up.
Yes.
It's part of why I try not to gossip about people. I've been trying really, really like major efforts. What happened the other day? And I was like, oh, I want to be so catty right now. Something happened, and I was like, all right, this is me. I have been on the receiving end of cattiness, and I don't like it.
Yes.
So I have made my whole life. I have not been a catty
Do
person.
you leer at them?
Right. I'm not. So, but every once in a while, I just have a cattiness that just wants to erupt in me. Right. And so there is this writer.
That caged cat.
Right.
Every once in a while, she's got to come out.
And the world, like Oprah, midwifed her into the world, and she's just can do no wrong. And because it's now been 2 decades, right? She's got her TED Talk. She always has a TED Talk with a book, and and every time she writes a new book, the book is about how the previous version of her was wrong, and she calls it growth, right? And I'm like, yeah. So the part of me that's like, yeah, you're growing, but then there's that catty part of me, or is we need to stop listening to you because you've screwed it up 5 times in a row,
right.
But now you've really got the answer.
Right.
Maybe we don't listen to this answer.
I liked my last book.
Maybe we see what the next book looks like.
Right. Yes.
And so there was this woman, her whole entire podcast, she's got a podcast on YouTube, and it's 15 minutes where she cuts people down. One of them was when celebrities say that they just drink water and get lots of sleep and eat clean food, and that's why they look so amazing. Not that they're getting face tucks and boob jobs and, have personal trainers and cellulite sucked from their behinds. No, it's just that they drink a lot of water. It's just that,
And their apple.
And so that's how I found her. And then she went to talk about this author that I'm talking about.
Funny.
She trashed her for 14 minutes. I reveled in that. And then I wanted to share it because I was like, I thought I was the only person. She sold 20 million books. She's got 20 million views on her TED Talk. And she just goes up my behind sideways.
You have to send it to me.
I will.
But
I wanted to share it, and I was like, who can I share my cattiness with?
Me. I love it.
And so I was trying to tell John, and he was like, uh-huh.
I know.
And I'm like, but I really want to be catty, and you're just like...
It's like Christmas.
So
that's how I was the other day with our neighbors, and I was like, "Ooh, I feel so exposed."
And the reason why there's a part of me that doesn't want... I really was trying to keep that cattiness under wrap. I was like, don't be jealous because she has something you want. She must have something you want, and that's where your jealousy piece is. And then I was just like, no, I'm actually annoyed. I want to be catty for a second.
Yes, but you allow it. So here's a good one to end on. Notice the people that bring out your favorite version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why people fall in love.
You're talking about
because what ends up happening is you like who you are around them.
Yes.
And I hope,
But then you get complacent.
well, I hope it's because all of the masks drop away. The really, all of the masks drop away and your real face is showing, and that's the best version of you and they accept it.
Yes.
And you can find that in your friendships. Hopefully you find it in your family dynamic.
This one has the F word, so I'm not going to say it, but it says, love your F life. Ing. I had to add that later because I'm like, what if it,
Do you want me just to push a button and you'll drop out?
Take pictures. Take pictures of everything. Tell people you love them. Talk to random strangers. Do things that you're scared to do. F it, because so many of us die and no one remembers a thing we did. Take your life and make it the best story in the world. Don't waste that. S-H-I-T.
Yes. So
I spelled it. I don't know if it was.
Death is a reminder of life. Grief is a reminder to love.
Ooh,
So
yes.
whenever you are really bumped up against grief, because that's the only thing that I could ever feel. What's the purpose of this horrible emotion that is just eating my soul, like grief? And it's to remind you that you're alive and you can love right now.
Yes.
It is a reminder that there's
Yes.
someone else alive that you could love right now. So anytime you feel grief for someone that you've lost, love someone now. That's a directive, a command.
Yes. Listen to this. Authenticity doesn't guarantee everyone will like you. It guarantees that you will like you.
Perfect.
I like that.
That's a great one to
Have a
end on.
great week.
Thank you for listening to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live. Go be confident. Go be happy. Tune in next week. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Tell us you love us. Is anyone paying attention?
And we'll create a tip jar.
WSMN 1590, WSMN 95.3 FM Nashua. Listen, watch, and stream at WSMN.live.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Just in moments ago from New York, the judge in Harvey Weinstein's retrial has declared a mistrial on the remaining rape charge for the movie mogul, as the jury foreperson said they could not deliberate anymore. An Air India flight with hundreds of people on board crashing into a dense neighborhood minutes after takeoff in northwest India. The plane bound for London. Investigators have been on the scene since it happened. ABC aviation consultant John Nance with more on how experts will figure out what went wrong.
Basically, you rule nothing in, you rule nothing out at the beginning of this sort of an accident. But there are incredible indications here that we're going to be able to triangulate with a lot of different video. This is a different age than it was 10 or 20 years ago. We have actual video of crashes that can help anybody who's investigating it very, very profoundly.
Supreme Court ruling in favor of a Georgia family who was prevented from suing the federal government over an FBI raid of their home. This is ABC News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policy?